my brother, created it. I like the logo, and it works. No. You having fun though?
I am.
Yeah.
I am. This is really cool. Way better than a lot of the data.
What do you usually do? Like, what kind of? Yeah.
And as a cyclist inside before.
Oh, nice. Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah, it is. Life's good. I live about 32 miles from here, a mile from here.
Oh. It's so weird.
Carlsbad?
Oh my god.
I was lucky. I got there early enough
Yeah.
when I bought the house.
Yeah. And now you're gonna make a lot from selling it. If you want to. You probably won't want to. It's like a vacation.
I mean, I love traveling.
Yeah.
I love to see the rest of the world.
Yeah, but so whenever I stay in Los Angeles or like that area, it feels so good. It is tough to beat.
But again, I've never been to Boston. I've got to go to Boston.
You would love it.
It's cold in here.
Cold in here?
It is a little, well, it'll heat up a little. The lights will warm up, but you're right.
I'm a skinny guy. I'm always getting chilly very quickly.
We were talking about it's funny, when I surf with you fellas, they're usually great surfers, dummies, their bodies are amazing, they're perfect for surfing, but they can chill easily.
Mm-hmm.
They're out in the water with full-on suits on. Sorry, fellas.
By the way, yeah, I saw a video from the last day's feed, and my family name had the incorrect accent. It's the accent aigu, what the French call it. I think on the stream it was going from top left to bottom right, and it's supposed to go from bottom left to top right in the lower thirds.
Oh, on the lower thirds?
On the lower thirds.
And so the accent is going the wrong way?
Yeah, it starts from bottom left to top right. Goes up.
Like a forward slash?
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Okay. Would you prefer the accent not to be there because he doesn't have the ability to the other way?
My grandfather will turn in its grave, but that's okay.
So,
If that's okay, I don't really mind.
okay.
You guys cannot pronounce it anyway, so with or without
It'll
it.
take us
Florian.
get it in a couple
Florian.
Yeah, that's a family name now, Delay, which is
Delay.
French.
minutes.
Without that, in German, it
Are we
creates a
delayed?
really nasty word, so that was always a thing in
So
German.
happy I get to wear a
it.
little bit of a beard.
Yeah.
It's like the first time on camera that usually.
Yeah, that looks great.
Yeah.
Looks very good.
Yeah, last night I ran to get a razor.
Really? And so you
It trimmed it.
knocked
Yeah,
down a little
knocked it down a
bit?
little bit.
Very cool. I was rocking the full beard for the last couple of 3 years. And I just
Feels better.
Yeah, just not on this.
Oh, look,
test
it's
it.
good.
It's good to have around.
Johannes
When
Mahler
I
and
went to
Cici.
Costa Rica, I grew this huge beard for the first time in my life. I lived there. My wife is Costa Rican. My baby is Costa Rican.
Fantastic. How
Yeah.
old's your baby?
My baby is Costa Rican.
There.
How old? You have a child?
Yeah, 5 months old.
Oh my goodness, congratulations.
Thank you.
My granddaughter just turned 6 months on we can go Tuesday.
It's just such a great age.
Yeah, yeah,
They're so much fun.
yeah, they're so beautiful and smell so good.
Mm.
They all smell good.
So when it's shown live stream, the first one's gonna be what people see online, right?
This is, that's our program shot.
Okay.
Actually, I want to double check. No, that's our program. That's program. These are all previews.
So people can look at those?
They won't see those, no. They're
Okay.
seeing just that.
Just that, okay.
Okay, so we're almost done. I wish we could hear and
I know. He said we could.
But isn't that creating a feedback?
Yeah, it would. Because if we take your shot,
Yeah.
Damn, I wish we could hear.
Maybe we can have headsets with the sound.
Yeah. Oh.
such was the sound from the program feed. So we gotta get
Exactly, only from the feed from the room, not from ourselves. Otherwise, we hear what we say, and it will not be good.
No, because if you have this on, you'd be hearing the directions for the camera.
Yes, my trackball is working. I love these kind of things. I used them for 20 years.
Look into my right arm gets tired from
It's really good. And it's very accurate, actually. At first, everyone is like a bit troubled by that because you use your thumb to move it, but it's good. It's very nice.
We're excited to have you here. Thank you for coming all over the world, and everybody watching online, thank you for tuning in. It will be a very exciting 3 days. A lot of prize money, a lot of interesting matches, and competitors going head to head. A couple announcements for the competitors, just to make sure you parked your car in a reserved spot. Make sure you park in the back of the spots. Supposed to say that. For Washington University,
So it is
it was
passed.
third year, they're helping out
This past one.
with some of the judging, and they're actually doing some tests
No,
in the back.
it's
If you have a
already
free
this
moment,
year.
10 minutes.
This is all this year.
It's not set up yet.
Yeah, I think the past one is
We'll
not
watch
here
it
anymore
after music.
on that website.
10 minutes of your time, you can get $20.
Even if we
and,
want to.
do one of their memory tests and help them out with their research. They're one of our sponsors, as well as DART. I'd like to thank them as well. Thank you, DART, for hosting this amazing event and helping us out with all of the logistics and IT, and also Washington University as well. Yeah. Please, if you're in the room, make sure your phone is off, like muted, no vibrations, and obviously no sound. And before we get started, the first match will be very soon. We're going to announce actually one of the surprise events, which will be, this will be for the finals. Okay, we're going to hand something to you which you can memorize at leisure, but it's for the finals, one of the final surprise events. Okay? Yeah, just to remind you that today is a work day, so there may be some noises around, but we'll try to keep that as minimal as possible. Yeah. So what this is 1,000 alphanumeric digits, and again, this is for the finals. So memorize it and know it. That's all I'll say now, and then obviously in the finals, if you made it that far, we'll explain what exactly we'll be doing with that. And I think that's pretty much it. Brad will be handing out the sheet. If you lose it, you can ask us for another one. And again, just be ready for your matches. We'll announce what table and seat you have to go to before your match, but you know, we're trying to start on time here and keep to the schedule, just because we have a lot of matches today. So, without further ado, we'll get set up for the first match. At table 1, we have Johannes, seat A, CC and seat B, Jan, seat A at table 2, Ben, seat B over there. We have Boris, table 3, against Lance. Somebody could check on Lance. There you are. So you're at seat number B at table 3. And then at table 4 is Clay and Anu. So if you guys can take your seats, we'll get started very shortly.
Did any competitor not get a alphanumeric sheet? Anybody did not get an alphanumeric sheet?
Does anyone have another USB Ethernet adapter? Saying mine is still working.
Anybody have a Mac USB adapter?
Can we try
Never.
Just to see if it's. You got this one.
Good luck, everyone. Have fun. personal computer you're using, please make sure it's muted.
Oh, yeah, it's not.
Competitors, you see judges in red shirts near your table. If there's a problem, just raise your hand. There's a judge for every table. They'll be in a red shirt.
He's basically the Michael Jordan of extreme memory. Of memory tournaments. Right
He
now.
pretty much is. He is. He won the World Memory Championships in, I think it was in 2010, and he was the runner-up for it for quite often. He's still the #1 in the world rankings. It's the highest amount of points ever achieved by any of these athletes. He was the only one who broke the 10,000 barrier point in our traditional championships. Just to let you know out there, if you don't have any information about memory sports so far, we have different kinds of competitions. The original ones, the traditional ones, they started in 1991 with the World Memory Championship in England, and from this championship developed the entire sport until what we got today.
Wasn't it a UK-dominated sport until, let's say, 2005?
It was.
And then Germans came in.
It was not just dominated by the UK. It was only UK.
It's only UK. Okay, that's why they kept winning and winning and winning.
Exactly. The first year I think was 5 competitors from the UK, and it has
That
come
makes sense
quite
why.
far since. The Dominic O'Brien won the championship
8 times. Right?
8 times,
Yep.
exactly.
I don't know.
And that was still in the early years. Nowadays, it's more versatile where the champions are coming from. So coming back to our table with Johannes and
CC.
you call her Cece. Why do you call her Cece? Is
That's
that
her nickname.
It's her nickname.
Yeah,
I
that's
didn't
her
know
nickname.
that. So her
You're
full
ready?
name
Okay.
is Zetzeksul Sorikt Batar.
Showing me up right now.
Well,
Setzuik
we have it all written
Zorik
down.
Batar.
The Mongolian names are
There's 5 Mongolians in the tournament, so they gave us all nicknames.
right. That's actually good to know because
Yeah.
I didn't know about these nicknames. I want to learn them. But
Now,
anyhow,
why does she have a paper over her head? And he doesn't, and he's wearing certain glasses?
right. These are some gimmicks that our athletes have.
Yep.
By the way, the countdown has started in 20 seconds. They go. So she has this paper around her peripheral view to block everything out from the side so that she's not going to be distracted. And Johannes has these glasses which supposed to do a
They look like
similar
goggles.
thing.
I like them.
Yeah, but I mean, they don't really block out the peripheral view. I think most importantly he uses it because it looks cool. And now we started. Here's the first discipline. They are memorizing cards. And as you can see when you're going on the XMT Live website, as you can also see here in our stream, they do different styles. Johannes is memorizing 2 cards at a time. CC is memorizing 3 at a time. So what all these athletes are doing, they have these memory techniques where they encode all this information into stories, and they put these stories, these images, these characters, objects, or whatever they have in their memory systems on familiar places. They go around a memory palace. We will explain all these techniques throughout the next 3 days, so don't worry if you don't understand a word what we are saying right now.
And some of the techniques are a little X-rated, so
That's-
just to warn some people out there.
That's also part of it. Yes, the crazier the stories are, violence, sexuality, these concepts.
Anime
works pretty
characters.
well. How do you come from sexuality to anime characters?
Well,
That's
anime
actually-
characters, you know, you
Yeah, I know.
can use.
They're kind of infamous.
Yes.
But actually, I mean, I'm
We
a
have some
big
young competitors here, so they watch a
yeah,
lot
but,
of anime.
but I'm a big anime fan. I watch all
Dragon
these.
Ball Z.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But I mean, the sexuality part's actually not so much related to them. It's kind of a
Well, you can use anime
Prejudice,
for sexual.
you can use
Yeah.
everything, but you can even use
Hey,
objects. But
I
that's-
heard a couple of
that's-
these guys used anime for some sexual
That's
ideas. and-
true, but I mean, like I said, you can use it whatever kind of content you
Yes.
have. And what we now see, they have already memorized. So while we were talking, they already finished. Sassy did it in 60 seconds, which is the top time they have. They have the maximum amount of 60 seconds for all of these 5 disciplines we
And
have.
Johannes did 30.72
Johannes
seconds.
did it in half that time, and it's an impressive time. And few people in the world can do that. About 100 people worldwide are
Yeah.
probably that fast. But that's not even close to what he can actually do. He can do much faster. He kind of played it safe here.
But
So
her
what-
score looks higher than his right now.
her score, what we see here in the recall is that they are now typing in all these cards they memorized. And on Johannes' side, we see a lot of red cards. But each red card means it's a mistake. A green card is in
Yeah.
the right slot. But the time is still 2.5 minutes here that they have for the recall. So we mustn't assume that this will be a completely disaster for Johannes. It doesn't look good though, but he can change everything. So he might have just put a few, look, he now just
Oh,
moved
now
the
he's-
cards to the right. He might do that a few more times.
So he's just placing
and all
them
of
there.
all of a sudden everything it might be green. So don't assume just because it's red now,
Yep.
it will be red in the end. All right, so let's just see how this is going to play out.
Because they have a 4-minute recall. There's 2 minutes left.
Oh, there are now a couple of red cards now for Sassy. She's
And now it's
correct
switching
now.
back.
Well, we never really know until the end, right? They can put it out. She put them out. And screen. Looks good for her.
Looks very good. And for him, too.
And
He just
now you
jumped
see
up to
he
46.
He just corrected all the mistakes by just moving all these cards a few slots to the right. And what he did in his mind is pretty much that he's going through these familiar places, and he might have messed this up in a first moment, and he just thought it would be another position, or he just jumped over a position, and then he realized, wait a second, that's not how I memorized it. And look, it's now all correct. The time's still running, but both competitors are finished. This is pretty cool. Maybe we can have a look at the other tables as well at the
Yeah, let's
same
look at the other
time.
one.
Let's switch to Ben Pridmore, table 2, and Jan-Henrik Bücher.
Now, Ben Pridmore is a veteran. He's a champion.
He is a 3 times world memory champion,
Grandmaster of memory.
a grandmaster of memory, although this title is now
A lot of people have it, right?
a lot of people getting it
Yeah.
nowadays. Not so much anymore because they changed the system how you get a grandmaster title.
Mm-hmm.
When Ben achieved it, they didn't have these upgrades on these titles. Nowadays we have international master of memory, we have a grandmaster of memory, and we have an international grandmaster of memory. That's all very
It just keeps changing because
confusing.
it's such a new sport.
yeah, exactly. I think the most relevant thing here is that when all these rules were made years ago, they didn't even know what's possible.
Now, I like how this is old versus new right now. You have Ben Pridmore, he's 39, and then you have Jan Hendrik, who's 17, right? Yeah.
Right. So Ben is going to win this with 31 seconds.
This is the UK versus Germany.
It's UK versus Germany, although I don't really see it very much
No,
as a national
it's not.
thing. It's more like athlete against athlete. It's one-on-one, exactly. So maybe we should explain how this entire championship format is working out for people out there who are familiar with the football World Cup. This is pretty much like it. We have the group system. We have, I think it's 6 groups with 4 competitors each, and 2 out of each group will qualify today to go into the final rounds
16.
tomorrow. And then there are 4 extra wild cards to make it a full 16.
Yep.
right? So there will be some third positions from the groups also going into the finals.
Now, how important was this first round of cards? Let's say, because it looks like Jan Hendrik struggled a little bit.
Right, it wasn't so
And-
important. That's
Okay.
that's very interesting about the XMT. So you lose a game, you win the next. You lose a game, you win the next. Or even if you lose your first 3 or 4 matches, you still have the chance to make it.
Okay, because it looked like Jan Hendrik was a little stressed, you know, he's grabbing his hair.
It was his very first event on the XMT in his life. He's a newcomer to
He's ranked
to the
number
sport.
20. Ben,
Right.
Ben is ranked 17, so they're kind of similar in rank. It was a good matchup for both of them.
You're referring to the ranks they had in the qualifications?
Yes.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, don't interpret these ranks too heavily,
Okay.
because it will be very different today. Whatever they did in the qualifications, it doesn't really give you a perfect clue of what's going to happen here, because it's the qualifications are at home. They're in a completely different surrounding. You have 5 attempts to get the best out of it, and this is a very, very different situation. So let's have a look at how this played out now. While we were talking, all the scores have already been done. By the way, this will happen a lot. We will talk, we will explain, and all of a sudden the match is already
We've got
done.
8 hours of this today, so
Yes.
we're going to be talking about a lot of different things.
Exactly. We will not always focus exactly on every single match. That's very important. All of you guys out there, you can follow individually every single table on the live website, on the xmtlive.com. You can see exactly what everyone is typing in. If you don't want to see what we do here in the live stream, you go on the website, you go on the competitor that you want to follow, and you see exactly what they type. So
And you can
this is
tweet
really
at us. If you want us to say anything, if you have any questions, tweet at us and we'll answer them.
All right.
Hopefully we'll answer them.
Yeah. So let's see. Johannes.
Looks like the veterans took over this round. Johannes and Ben Pridmore with the win.
Exactly.
Both got 3 points. And Cece, but you want to say the full name?
Zetzexul.
Zexel Zorig Batar.
I think that's how you pronounce it. I haven't actually.
She's the
asked
youngest
her yet.
female in the tournament too.
Yes, and then we have Ben winning against Jan Hendrik, and we have
Yep.
Anudari, who's also from Mongolian, who's also from the Mongolian team, against Clay, and she won with 40 seconds, 0.23 against Clay's 60 seconds, and he made.
Clay
couple
was
of-
a last minute.
Yes, he drew a wild card because another competitor didn't show up who actually qualified.
But it's pretty interesting because he just started these kind of competitions.
Well, he's already doing that for 2 years, I
Well,
think.
it's not that long.
But it's not that long. But
Yeah.
on the other hand, you have some newcomers who are incredibly good.
Yeah.
So, for
Okay,
example,
and they're a lot younger too.
yeah. well, For example, we have Everett True from the United States, and he is like 50, he just turned 15
yeah.
yesterday.
It was his birthday yesterday at Chili's.
Exactly. And he's incredible. At least from what I heard so far. I haven't seen him in action
He's
yet.
very modest. He's like, all I just want to do is just see the other competitors, see what they do. I'm just having
Right.
fun.
Right.
I mean, I guess
exactly.
that's what happens at 15.
So I think it's very important that you don't think because someone is doing it for 10 years that he will necessarily be better than
His
the others.
mind might be tired. Because these guys memorize study 6 hours a day, some of them?
Well, let's see. There's Ben Pridmore again, and Ben
Yeah.
Pridmore, he already became the world memory champion in 2004, was it? I think.
Yeah, 2004.
I was there.
2004,
I saw him
2006,
winning there. I was
2009.
competing at the same competition against him basically, and that doesn't give him an advantage at all.
Yeah.
It gives him the experience. There's not a single competitor at the entire competition who has done so many competitions like him.
Now, can you play with someone's mind right now? Look at them and kind of
Right.
get them off their game?
Exactly. So
Do
what-
people do that?
Well, yes. I mean, do they do that? No, but they could, and it would be very bad.
I feel like that could
So if you
happen,
do
yeah.
psychological games with your opponent, that could really throw them off. But so far, the sport is still small, and we are all friends and family here, right? So we haven't really come to that point where it really gets to I want to destroy my opponent. So far, it's more a gentleman's sport. Everyone respects everyone else, and no one has tried to attempt these kinds of things, except for maybe outside of the disciplines themselves. They might have some trash talk with each other, but in a fun way, not really in a mean way. So I don't know where this will going in the future. I hope it will stay
With
friendly.
the prizes getting bigger.
With the
and-
prizes
and
getting
the
bigger,
viewership
we
getting bigger
never
and
know what's
sponsors, yeah.
happening. Exactly. So let's coming back to what's happening here, though. So they already finished the next discipline. Ben memorized 30 images. This is the image discipline in 27.87 seconds, and he got a score of 28 because he switched up 2 of these images. They are surrounded with a green or a red box, like the cards. Green is correct, red is incorrect. Jan Hendrik did it in 60 seconds, which is less than half of the
yeah.
time, but he got all correct, so he wins the match.
So it's really not about time with this.
It is about time, but the moment you make a mistake, the time gets irrelevant and it gets back to the 60 seconds. So let's say in this example, Ben was doing it so fast, but Jan Henrik took it safe, and he is winning now because Ben made a mistake resetting his own time. Or maybe let's not call it resetting the time, it's still 27 seconds that he got there, but his score is 28. And the score of Jan Henrik is 30. So
Can we go to some of these images? Let's see. So
yes.
Let's describe like what they're seeing.
So what is the first thing? It's like looks like a Christmas tree or something
like
like
some
that.
flowers. Then you have blueberries.
Flowers. Then there's a guy with a
Looks
lemon
like
in his
Nelson
mouth.
Dallas with a lemon in his mouth.
Actually, I
Fruit.
used exactly that image on my
You did?
training cards as a memory coach. That's funny. I used that for 04 sour. What that means, we will explain later.
And then what people need to know, you are like the first. For me, I think you're like you really know your stuff. You know, you
try to.
studied this extensively. You have one of the best websites out there, MemorySports.com.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, I was the first memory sports journalist. No one before has really specialized on that. There might
You gotta
have
brush
been,
your shoulders off. There we go.
there might have been some people who wrote about sports for mass media, television, and newspapers, but they weren't specialized in that.
Now we have Dr. Boris Conrad
Exactly,
and
Lance
with the U.S. citizen Lance
Cherhart. Yes, and Lance just won with a spectacular 17 seconds. Let's have a closer look at that.
And I heard this year he studied a lot. That's what the rumor was. He really.
Even more interesting.
Yeah.
Look at this. Clay
go.
Knight versus Anudari. Clay Knight versus Anudari. That was 18.84 seconds for Clay versus Anudari with 18.01. It's basically the same time. It's super fast. Imagine that. There are 30 images and these guys memorized them in 18 seconds, both of them. And
Wow.
Clay, although he was slower, he won against Anudari because she screwed up. She had a couple of mistakes, even some omissions there. She didn't even know where to put them anymore, so Clay won. There was a
That's
very
a huge upset right
close-
there. That is incredible. They're tied 1-1 now.
Yes. For you guys out there, if you miss one of these matches, you can always go back. You click on matches on the xmtlive.com website, and there you see the list with everything that happened so far. And on the far right, you can click on these view buttons, and you can go directly to each match, and you see the results, and you see what they memorized, where they made the mistake, and yeah,
You
that's,
won't miss a thing in these 8 hours today.
Exactly.
You can always go back. Don't worry.
There's one thing missing though. Here's the match number 3, Boris versus Lance from the first round, and there's an empty slot as if it not happened. Since we don't hear the sound from the room at the moment,
Yeah.
you cannot really say what happened there.
Let's quickly go through the guys that just competed.
Yes.
So Clay Knight, he's from the UK. He just got in. We just explained that.
Exactly.
We have Dr. Boris Conrad. So this is he's a pretty intelligent guy. He studies at he works at the Max Planck Institute, which is one of the most
Yes.
incredible places.
Exactly.
And he does a lot of work there. He's a keynote speaker.
You
and
should-
what people should watch out for. He's a crazy screamer once he wins.
He is the guy we will have a closer look at throughout the
Yeah.
competition because when it gets into the hot phase, if he makes it, and it's very likely because he's one of the best memorizers in the world, then when he loses, we will hear it. When he wins, we will
Do you
hear
want to
it.
give, like, imitate it right now?
Yes! or he likes to say Scheiße!
Scheiße!
Which is a word I don't want to translate right now.
You
It's
can translate
German.
it.
Well, it's shit. We're not
not that bad.
We're not a television here, so we can say whatever we want, right?
But
Anyhow.
he almost won the championship last year.
Yes,
Right?
he made it to the
Yeah,
finals.
he made it to the final. He beat Simon.
Yes, that was the moment that was the craziest when he was winning against Simon Reinhardt, or how you pronounce it,
Simon.
Simon. That's
Yeah.
very good. That's the German way. And Simon he holds the world record for actually not anymore. It was taken away from him by Janja and by Katie, both of them
Wow.
holding the long and short names records. But Boris bet him. And Boris he also held the world record for names before Simon. So all these guys, they kind of take the records back and forth from each other. And Boris, when he bet Simon last year in the names, he really got happy about it. You can watch the
Well,
video.
because Simon, he has
online on my
3
channel.
records for XMT too.
That's true.
It's just like these guys are just incredible.
They're incredible. But, and I always want to say that whenever we
Yeah.
say they're incredible, they are incredible, but anyone
can do it.
Everyone can do that just with a little bit of dedication. You don't even have to train 4 hours a day for years. You can. Alex Mullen, who's
Yeah.
also one of our competitors, he won the last World Memory Championship with just
Stress again that the 1 minute of memorization
30 minutes of practice a day in average for 1.5 years.
Well, because he's a med student, so he doesn't have that much time.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and he has a busy social life as well. He just married his high school sweetheart.
And until they coach people together, they train people
Exactly.
for real life situations. That's another thing about this sport is that you can bring it out to the real life and you can do a lot of things with it.
That is very important
Yeah.
because everyone who looks at the sport for the first time, they say, okay, there are these crazy people and they memorize this boring stuff, numbers and
they are
cards and all-
crazy, but
That's true, we're all crazy, and it's also kind of strange to memorize numbers and cards. But what is important to understand is the fact that we have these images in our head. All of what we memorize here are is basically translated into imagery. And this imagery will then be taken as it comes and created into stories. And these stories are funny, sexy, crazy, scary, sad. And it's very entertaining to do that.
Yeah.
Very, very quickly. I mean, these guys do it in a second, these stories, and less.
and for our age group, it kind of works out perfectly, this sport that's up and coming, because we're millennials and we just kind of don't focus on things. We go from one thing to the next. And they're really teaching us how to focus on something and get something done.
That's
and
true.
using it like you can learn another language.
Yes, you can learn easily
Yeah.
100 words a day, and you remember all of them.
My girlfriend would be
You can-
so happy with me. She's from Puerto Rico.
Right.
So her whole family wants me to learn Spanish.
Yeah,
And I haven't learned it yet. So after this is motivating me, these guys.
absolutely. And it's so impressive what you can actually do with this.
Yeah.
I said you can learn 100 words a day. That's the easy.
Yeah.
That's the easy approach. You can even do 1,000 words a day if you study from morning to evening, and you will remember all of them. Might make a few mistakes here and there. That's normal. So it's not. The memory doesn't get super perfect for that. Even these guys are doing mistakes.
Could you see a class in the future in high school? A memory class?
Absolutely. All the schools in the world,
Yeah.
and not just in high school,
Yeah.
in primary school.
So I
The
could be
kids
seeing
should
you
learn
at
these
Harvard in the next couple of years being professor teaching memory.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Although I'm not really looking forward to go to Harvard
Why?
because that's
It's the best city in the world.
yeah, but that's already the grown-ups. Why don't we focus on
That's
the kids?
true.
Why
You're
don't
right,
we
you're
focus
right.
on the kids who need that so much more to get into Harvard
Yeah.
in the first place? Because everyone with these techniques can improve their education so much because nothing is stopping them anymore from memorizing. And I know nowadays people say, yeah, the memory skill is not so important. You need to understand. You need to get the abstract connection of everything that the information is giving you. But that is misleading in my opinion, because when I can memorize all the facts that I need for the entire semester of my study set in the first week or in the first 2 weeks, then I give my brain the ability to create a skeleton of reference that I can then fill with the flesh of the information step by step throughout the rest of the semester, and really learn it so profoundly,
Yeah.
and with such a good motivation and dedication, because I know I have all that already in my head.
And I could see even athletes like, let's say LeBron James, using these methods to see if a player does a spin move every time he gets in this area.
Yes.
Or, you know, he's going to try to dunk on me.
Exactly. You can put that into professional physical sports, and you can teach all these athletes hundreds and even thousands of statistics for their opponents, for what they could, exactly what you said. So there's this one athlete who does always this and that.
Now, that's Senge versus Simon.
Yes.
And he's blocking out the sound and everything around him.
Exactly. Now we see him having these earmuffs.
But I'm looking at the champions, former champions, and they don't use anything.
That's a very interesting thing, because the better you get at that, the less you feel distracted.
Yeah.
At the beginning, when you are
That's another mind
when
trick
you are
too.
still new to the sport, you are easily distracted. The concentration is still lacking a bit. Although I don't want to say that Senge Samdan here from Mongolia is easily being distracted. You just want to make sure.
Exactly.
While Simon, on the other hand, who is his component there, he doesn't really care about this at all, because he knows that he's one of the best in the world, and he has done this since 2005. He's just super confident about this. While Senge Samdan, he's also one of the best in the world. He's in the top 10 rankings, but he's kind of new.
Yeah.
He just does this for, I don't know,
But
3
he
or
is the
4 years
Asian
now.
and Hong Kong champion.
Yes.
And that's something else that we haven't talked about, how in Asia it's just becoming a huge sport. The past,
Huge.
What, 5 years?
Gigantic.
Yeah.
This is getting bigger than physical sports.
And it's going to be in
Asia.
Singapore, the World Memory Championship, too.
Yeah, although this might not be the. There are a few things going on in the world of memory. We might want to mention this. So far, memory sports has been organized by the World Memory Sports Council, which is basically a private organization run by
No,
Tony
but
Buzan
like-
and Ray Keane.
Like you said, I mean, XMT is much more exciting. It's fast-paced. It's one-on-one situations.
Right.
And I think this is the sport that will actually move on and become more famous.
Although we have to see it more generally. The other sport is not like going away anywhere. We still
Yeah,
like
it's
that.
not.
It's just that so far, for the last 25 years, this hasn't really changed, and it started to look like an exam. No one wants to watch people who sit for hours in
Yeah.
front of a piece of paper just with a headstone,
Yeah,
and
no.
they memorize. This looks super boring. Well, what we have here now, this is live, this is digital, this is
Yeah.
fast-paced, one-on-one, I agree. But nevertheless, we have created a few days ago the International Association of Memory, the IM, which is a new democratic organization which brings memory sports to all corners of the world. And we want to keep it free, we want to keep it democratic, we want to keep it fresh and young.
Yeah.
So this is why we are transforming the sport more and more into the digital direction, more and more into the faster direction. The XMT was just the first one, but there will be others as well. We have the Memo games who are digital. We have the Memoriat, which is digital. It will come this year to Las Vegas
Are you
in
going to Las
November.
Vegas?
Yeah, it will be a big one. It's only happening all 4 years. And we are already talking about new championships with completely new styles. The XMT is on the forefront of that, absolutely.
Now, is this Johnny Briones?
Johnny Briones from
Yep.
The United States
that is,
versus Marvin Valonius from Sweden.
And he's a sleeper pick, right? Well, not really a sleeper, but he's someone that a lot of people are picking to win this.
Well, he was my suggestion for the winner this year. Marvin is...
Came in second.
He has a really interesting story. Marvin started at the same time with Jonas von Essen. Jonas von Essen is the 2 times world memory champion from Sweden. And Jonas, when he started to learn these techniques, he contacted Marvin and he asked him for a couple of tricks.
Yep.
And because they knew each other from online forums. And Marvin gave him some tricks. And then all of a sudden, Jonas became the world memory champion, and he just skyrocketed himself. And for Marvin, this was a bit shocking, because before that he was with his training scores better than Jonas. And then Marvin continued to practice and put the bar higher and higher. And I made a really interesting interview. You can find it on my website with him. And he is really dedicated to become the best in the world. He's constantly improving, and he already broke several world records now.
And it looks like Marwan just won right here.
He got a really nice score, 20 names. It's not perfect. They got 30
Look at it.
names
Wait,
there.
what's on her hands? Did you see that?
No, I didn't see that.
She has pink all over her hands.
No, it was
I think it's from her hair.
It was her hair.
Yeah.
Was
I think
it?
she
was
just
it
did her hair.
colored her
Yeah,
hair?
and then it was all over her hands. I think I shook her
Maybe
hand
she
and I saw
just
that.
used pink color there.
All right, I like her style.
Yeah, this is Janja Altansu from Sweden. She is Swedish, Mongolian heritage actually.
Yeah, she's really the sixth Mongolian in this tournament, but she's
Technically,
from
yes.
Sweden. She speaks like 6 languages?
600 maybe.
What?
Nah, I'm exaggerating.
No, I know.
But it's, I think it's more than 6, and she is the most colorful character on the competition.
her hair,
I'm
too.
not saying that because of
no.
her hair. I'm saying that because her personality is really colorful.
And look at this guy. We have Alex Mullen. He just won the World Memory Championship, and he is
exactly. So
he's a force to be reckoned with.
he is from the entire field of competitors,
Seconds to memorize.
in many ways the most impressive one, because in such a short time, with so little training, he became the best in the world. And he also, as you can see on his body language, and when you talk with him, he's so calm.
He is.
He is so relaxed. He's so humble. And I think this really is what makes a champion in the memory sports world. He's a fantastic guy. He won the World Memory Championship last year in China against Marvin, who was leading 9 out of 10 disciplines. And in the last round, Alex surpassed him and became the first World Memory Champion from the United States, putting the United States on the map for the first time, because
That's how we do it.
before him, the United States wasn't really good at that. There was Nelson.
But we're getting better, right?
There was Nelson.
Hey, there was
who the
Nelson,
first-
4-time U.S. memory champion.
Exactly.
And he created the Extreme Memory Tournament.
Yeah, he's the mastermind behind what we see.
Nelson
here today.
is one of the most incredible people.
And of course there were some other guys before that who also are very valuable people for the memory sports in the United States. Ron White, Chester Santos, Ram Coley, but these guys were on an international level, not that high. While Nelson was the first one who got under the top 30, which was really good. And then now with Alex, we have a world memory champion from the United States. Sorry to hold you there. Immediately, it made a difference in the awareness of how the sport is getting to the public in the United States. So many interviews with him all around the United States. People are now talking with Alex and asking him what did he do. He gets a lot of attention, and that's fantastic, because the United States is really necessary to make the sport getting kicked off, because it's the leading
Nelson
country in the
also
world.
paved the way too. He found it when he was 25 years old, and Alex, he started 19, 20?
Right. What is he now? 22.
24.
24 already.
24.
Right. He started I think
3 years ago. Yeah, 3 years.
Yes.
So 21. But yeah, they're all on TV shows now. They're going on. What's the one that Johannes was on?
That was
Brain.
which one? I mean, there's
Super
so
Brain.
many.
Super Brain.
They're all basically, most of them are the same shows. In the United States, you call them the Superhuman Show. Louis Angel just won it in January. He won a $100,000 prize pool there by
That's
memorizing 100 people's names.
Now, what's going on right now? This is the numbers. Okay, so we have
Young-
Everett Chu, the youngest player in the tournament, who just turned 15.
Right, Janja versus Everett Chu. Everett Chu is also a super impressive guy. We already mentioned him before. He's the youngest competitor, isn't he?
Yeah, and he's another humble guy, like you
From
said,
the
which
United
helps out.
States. And I talked with him last year. before the XMT, before the US Open that happened here in Los Angeles. The next one taking place next weekend in Los Angeles, and he was wondering whether he should come or not. And I tried to talk him into it, because even if your skills are still low. I'm not saying his skills were low by then, but even if your skills are still low, you should go to a championship to get the feeling of it, to meet these people, to get motivated, to invest more time, because the championship is always a super great way to get a foot into the door of memory sports.
Exactly.
Even you don't go to a championship to win it, at least in the traditional ones. You go there to overcome your own limitations.
It's all
to
about
try-
practice.
Exactly.
I mean, and he's 15, so he's got a lot to go.
And what I wanted to say is that he didn't go
Yeah.
to the US Open because he wanted to have another year of hot training. And I think it really paid out.
Let's go to Alex Mullen. So he did the numbers in 22 seconds.
Exactly. So the numbers discipline that we see here that they're doing right now, this is 80 digits in 60 seconds. And he not even memorized all of them. He made a one mistake there, a little switch there of digits. But he memorized this all in 22:30.
22:30?
Yes. So that's-
And the other guy was 59.34.
Right. That doesn't mean that he couldn't. By the way, I think the pronunciation of our Mongolian competitor here competing against Alex is Shijir.
No, it's Shuzir.
Is it?
Yes. Shuzir.
Well, all right. I go for the.
I mean, we can make a bet on this
I was
if you
talking
want.
with him yesterday.
I talked to him
and
too.
But that's okay. That's okay.
All right, whatever.
He has one
But
of
it looks
these.
like he's beating
Tricky.
Alex right now.
First of all, yes, because Alex switched 868 to 686. That's a little silly mistake, but this happens.
But that's actually a big mistake.
I think what's very interesting here to point out is that even if we see a score of 59 seconds here against the 22, doesn't mean that he cannot do faster. This is strategy.
Yeah.
Because he assumes probably that Alex is going for a fast run, and he is counting on him making a mistake while he is taking all the time to play it safe and be sure that he gets all 80 digits correct. So this is all a strategy thing.
And what's he doing right? He's just counting his...
Well, he's just double
going
checking
through.
if he.
I mean, he got a
did
perfect
everything
score,
right.
so...
Another strategy aspect of his here is he didn't stop the time at 60 seconds. He could just do the entire 60 seconds,
Yeah.
but he wasn't sure, of course, if his strategy is correct. So will Alex go for a fast time? Probably. But if he doesn't go for a fast time, it's much better to not take the full 60 seconds, because then they would have an even score.
Yeah.
80
That's
against
true.
80
You want
with
maybe
60
get 50,
seconds.
yeah.
So they do 59 point something. My prediction actually for this championship is that we already saw this strategy last year quite a lot, and that we'll see more times that are in the early 50 seconds. Because if everyone is doing 59 seconds, then you don't get an advantage anymore. So they will try to do the safe time a little bit less safe with a little bit less time.
I mean, that time is very similar to what Alex just did, 22 seconds, to Johannes' record last year. Oh no, it was this year. The world record, 21.01 seconds
Over Alex and Yenja.
for the numbers.
5 over Everett.
You got them all correct in
Great job.
21
So the
seconds.
next
Yes, that was.
Yeah.
He already did that last year, didn't he? Are you referring to the?
It says the 2016.
Maybe there was part of the qualification. No, he didn't qualify because he was already qualified.
Yeah, he's already qualified.
The
He
top
already-
eight,
yeah.
the top 8 competitors from last year, they already got an entry cut into this year's XMT automatically. While the other 16 slots out of the 24 competitors, they had to qualify with the online qualification on the website.
Oh. Wow. So all right. So we're first.
Yeah, let's have a
Yeah,
quick
let's go
look
through
at the
the rounds.
overview, because I mean, while we talk here, they have already done so many matches. This is
They've gone through the images. They've gone through the names and numbers.
we have already 17.
It was a major upset by Shuzir. Shuzir, beating Alex Mullen, the defending world memory champion,
Exactly.
and then Marwin beat Johnny.
So when we have now a look at the groups, then we will see that there are In Group A, everyone has 3 points so far. That's an interesting group.
That looks like a tight group right there.
In Group B, Lance has fallen behind with 0 points. Group C, we have Marvin taking the lead with 6 points.
Yep, that's your pick.
Right, and then we have in Group D, we have Yanja also with 6 points in the lead before Alex, before Shusir, you say. I still think it's with a DJ sound in the middle, but we will talk about this later. And Everett going there at the bottom end of his group, but that was just the first 2 games, so there is
I'm rooting for Everett.
possibility
You know, he lost his first 2 events, but like you said, the first couple events don't really matter. I mean, they matter, but you can
true.
still win it.
It's true, but it's a tough group. It's a really tough group, number D here with Yanja and Alex, and also I would call him Chijian now. Chijian is a really strong.
We have hours and a couple days to get it.
Yes, we will ask him. We will make an interview with him later, right? We'll bring him here in the stream and we'll ask him exactly.
Now, what I've gotten out of the Mongolian players is they're very serious. Very serious.
They are very serious, but in general, you see a different kind of dedication with the Asian competitors. The further east, the stronger the dedication. So Mongolia and China, those are really fierce athletes.
Why are there any Chinese athletes in this? I don't understand why.
We had one competitor that was Shi Binbin, who actually qualified for the XMT, but he had a problem with the
if you're watching the
US visa. So there was.
Well, not you.
There was a.
I'm sorry about that.
There was a. I don't know. It's probably not a political thing, but he had a problem with the visa.
Yeah.
As a Chinese, it's always.
Well, there'll be many. So.
Yes, hopefully next year this will be easier for him. Shi Binbin, he is the world record holder of 1 hour cards. One of our even crazier disciplines.
I don't think I could do that with you. The 1 hour cards. I don't know. We could talk about a lot of stuff.
We call it the marathon. 60 minutes of memorizing as many cards as possible, and this looks crazy. We have these tables with stacked packs of cards, and Chi Bin he did 32 decks.
Oh my god!
That's 32 times 52 cards.
Over the years, it's going to change digitally, and you'll be able to use touchscreen.
Yes.
Because that's kind of annoying with 32 decks.
It is annoying for the athlete.
Yeah.
And it's incredibly annoying for the arbiter.
Yeah.
I'm an arbiter myself.
Yeah.
I have done this at the World Memory Championships.
Clean
And
that mess up. Come on.
you have to imagine how this works, right?
Yeah.
So you have all these decks, and they have to be put perfectly into their boxes so that not a single card is falling down to the floor. And they have to be labeled from 1 to 32 pack. They have to have the exact name, the ID of the competitor. They have to be put into plastic bags. And then we have these huge piles of plastic bags from hundreds of competitors. I mean, at the World Memory Championships, we had up to 200 competitors, actually. And then they go into the arbiter's room. And then there comes the first arbiter who puts out the first pack of cards and and starts to control them. And then for all these cards for one competitor, and they don't do it once, they have to do it twice. And if there's some irregularity going on, there have to be a high arbiter coming in who does it a third time. So there are up to 1 million data points at a World Memory Championship to be corrected manually by hand. So
this is much better digitally on your computer. And right now we have Vessel, who's one of the funniest guys. I met him yesterday. He's the only one from the Netherlands.
Right. And he's a newcomer.
He's a young brain.
Yeah.
A lot of hair on his head. And we got Katie Kermode. Met her this morning on the drive to the Extreme Memory Tournament. Very nice woman.
Right.
From Britain.
Exactly. So Wessel is here for the first time, but also it's the first time I meet him, which is always when I meet someone for the first time, it really means he is a newcomer.
He seemed really relaxed yesterday, but today I could tell he was studying and he didn't want you to talk to him. Right. He gave me a look like, "Don't come near me."
Right. They need their concentration.
Yeah.
Katie is an incredible woman. She is at the moment on par with Yanja. The two best female memory athletes in the world.
She's ranked number 5. I know we're not going off ranks, but right now coming into this tournament, she's ranked number 5.
Right. And she also holds the world record in memorizing 5-minute names.
Yep, 97 names.
97 names,
Yep.
exactly. And that's,
And she's the UK champ in 2012.
I mean, honestly, imagine that. You're memorizing a list of names and faces
Yeah.
in 5 minutes, and she does 97 of them.
You
And
know
we're not talking first names like here.
Yeah.
This is the XMT is doing the light version of
Yeah.
it. She has the world record in international names. That's not even English names,
Stop it.
but names
Stop.
from all around the world. They're like
She was here.
Georgios Papadopoulos and stuff like that. And she memorized that in a few seconds. We're just getting the question: is there a group of death? And to be honest, there are several group of deaths because these guys are so good. I would certainly say Group D is a really tough one because
you can already tell
all of
that.
them are really good. But then when we look at Group C with Marvin, Simon, and Sengi Samdan,
That's
who are
what
all
I'm really looking at.
top 10
Yeah.
world-ranked competitors.
And what about Group A? Everyone's tied up right now.
Well, Group A, we have Jan-Henrik Bücher, who is a newcomer.
Yeah.
He's a junior from Germany, and we have Zed Zexuel, who is she's not a newcomer anymore. She already had a lot of experience, but from what I saw from her scores, it's far below what Johannes and Ben did. So
And that's Marlowe Knight right there. He's one of the Knight brothers. There's two brothers in this tournament,
Yes.
Clay and Marlowe. And he was talking to me earlier this morning. He was so excited that his brother finally got into the tournament.
right,
And-
he's our oldest competitor.
Yeah, he's 48 years old.
Right, and that's very important. Again, there's so many important things here
Yeah.
about our
Yeah.
sport. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter that he's 48.
Anybody can do this. Come
Anybody
on.
can do it. Even if you're 60, 70, 80 years old, you can still learn the skill and you can still be very
Yeah.
good at that, even on a competitive level, and you can beat, and, well, let me say it, you can beat the shit out of an 80-year-old person.
And you feel good about it.
And you feel good about it, exactly. You could never run against that person
This is
or
another thing
lift
I'm-
weights, but you can memorize stuff.
Well, you could if you're Arnold or.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I would lose against Arnold, certainly, when lifting weights.
Even when he's 80.
I might beat him in running, though.
So here's Johannes.
What?
Another Johannes.
Well, now that's
It was, no, they just showed. And
that's
there's Katie again.
oh yeah, that's Johannes.
Yeah.
That's Johannes.
But Katie
Sue?
in the car today, when we were talking about memorizing names, she's like, once I'm out of tournaments, I can't even memorize anyone's name.
That's also such a thing. Everyone assumes that when you're a memory athlete and when you use these memory techniques in such a high level, that you are naturally good at memory, and that's not true.
Yeah.
It's a bit sad. Yeah, some people might say, these guys they memorize stuff and but out there they don't even
She's
work
probably
anymore.
just tired of it.
The thing is, what is important to understand, and we're at the right place for this with Dark Neuroscience, who dedicate their entire work to find memory improvements, like the memory pill. They have this fantastic memory test called the Extreme Memory Challenge. You can find that on, I think the website is called extremememorychallenge.com. Is that right, Max?
Yep. ExtremeMemoryChallenge.com.
You can go there and do this test for free, and they are actually doing the biggest memory test in the world. So the more people are participating in that, they can find out about differences in memory.
And they
So-
might find you
exactly
one of the extreme memories in the world.
Yeah,
So
maybe-
please
maybe
take the
you
Extreme
are-
Memory Challenge on extremememorychallenge.com.
exactly. Maybe you have a memory that is so outrageously good that
you don't even know it,
You
yeah.
don't even need the memory techniques for it.
Yeah.
Because there's always some upper scale, like the 2% of people in the population that just have a naturally
Well, that's
good
what
memory.
Katie said. She doesn't really use a technique for her names, which is pretty interesting.
Right.
She doesn't use,
Right, and that's
she just does it.
that is very annoying to some memory athletes who
I
are
know,
not
because they put a
naturally
lot
good
of,
at
yeah.
names.
But that's just one event that she does that. She probably uses the
Exactly.
system
She has,
for
to
other
put, she has to
events.
put more effort into.
Let's talk
the
about
other
these
ones.
two guys right here.
All right, we haven't talked about them yet. We
Yep.
see
Johan Randall Abrina.
Johan on the
and
left.
Christian
He's from the
Schaefer.
Philippines, the
Yep.
only competitor this year from the
He's
Philippines.
the 2013 Philippines champion.
But he is here for the third time in a row.
Yep.
And then we have Christian, who's also third time in a row here. He's from Germany.
I love his glasses, the style.
Yes, he
and
has
his hair.
He has these cool glasses.
A lot of these guys have
like
really cool
Johannes,
hair.
but the difference to his glasses are they are shaded.
Okay.
You can't see his eyes, so
Oh.
he's blocking out more of the
Kind
surroundings.
of like a World Series of Poker.
We
thing.
actually have to ask Johannes why he even bothers to wear these normal glasses, which have
Yeah.
normal glasses and they don't block anything from the peripheral. It gives him a feeling of
It's a nice style, but...
right?
Okay, so I want to talk about Johan Randall again.
Yes.
So he's 60 seconds. So the words, you can just pick any language, right?
Exactly.
And both of them, obviously, let's see what they picked.
I think both of them. Now Christian does it in German.
Yep.
And Johan does it
Let's go through some of these names.
in English actually.
And you can get a total of 50 names, correct?
No, I think it's 30,
It's 30.
30 names.
No,
it's
no,
50,
'cause
it's 50 words.
50 words,
It's
that's what I
50
mean.
words, exactly.
Yeah,
Two
50
different
words.
decimals.
Because Christian right now has 34. He got 34 words.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. The words discipline is, together with the names discipline, the more difficult one.
Well, tell me some of the names that they give you. Some of the words.
Well, the words will be
Yeah. It's really anything?
pretty much anything, yes. In the traditional memory sports, we use 80% concrete nouns, 10% abstract nouns, 10% infinitive verbs.
Yeah.
Here at the XMT, I think it's everything, like even grammar words like if.
Well, I just saw marijuana
I
was on
think
there.
I'm not sure. Actually, I'm not sure about this. We gotta ask Nelson about this, but there are some very meaningless words.
Now, yeah, with that, so they give you a list of words. You have a minute to memorize it, then 4 minutes to recall it. And it's all, like you said, random words.
Yes, exactly.
And with these words, do you use numbers to memorize it?
No,
But that's
so,
the numbers game.
So this is what makes discipline names and words,
Yeah.
both of them, a little bit more difficult than the others. You don't really have a super straightforward system for that. What you do with the numbers and with the cards is you translate them into specific images. And I actually brought a couple of examples here. We'll have a look at this later. So you know exactly what you're doing. You look at a 78 and you know it's goofy,
Yeah. Yeah.
for example. But when you look at a word and it says accountant, you have to visualize that and you have to put that visual that you create out of the word accountant on your memory palace. So you have to be creative enough to find something that you can actually visualize for that. Accountant is already a more tricky one, but it's not the most tricky one. Imagine maybe something like I'm blank here.
You're blanking.
Just imagine a really crazy abstract word, and you have to then come up with a visual for it.
Yep.
And this is what these guys
That's a
have
spatial
to do.
memory.
And you cannot really prepare for that as well as for the numbers. So if you're not really good from the beginning in names and words, you will have a harder time to really master this. But you still can.
Yeah.
It just takes a little bit longer. And the same goes for the names. Let's use our competitors' names here. We have Marvin Valonius. And if you want to memorize that, then you most likely will have a look at words that sound similar like that. Because Marvin Valonius doesn't mean anything. It might have a meaning, but you don't know that meaning because you haven't studied all the meaning of all the names around the world. So you find a word that sounds similar, Marwin. It sounds like mar, which is the C in Spanish. So if you speak other languages, that's very helpful. Win, so he's winning something. You can imagine he's maybe on a little boat on the sea, and there is money coins falling down because he just won the heavenly lottery or whatever. And then Valonia sounds like wall, so he's like maybe driving towards a huge wall in the sea, and then the end, Onius. I don't know. I mean, this
Onius, yeah, what do you think about that?
lone, maybe lone,
Okay, all right.
lonely, loneliest, Onius. That sounds a little bit like lonely. It's already getting away from that, but so you can imagine he's lonely in the boat, winning all that money and driving towards a wall.
Okay, so
that
you
could be the
really
image.
just break it up.
Yeah.
And you just memorize each part. Okay, I like this. And for the cards part, so we're with Melanie and Fujay, and Melanie didn't memorize all the cards in 60 seconds. So we'll see how she does.
Right. Well, why do you say she didn't memorize all the cards? She has the last cards there. at
She
the end.
does? I thought she didn't know.
I think she did.
She did?
Yeah.
Okay.
But of course, it's a possibility that the athlete is not even memorizing the entire amount of data that they're being presented at. This will especially happening at the names and the words, where most of the athletes are actually not exactly that good yet. So while the cards, the numbers, and the images, everyone is like memorizing everything normally, it will not be the case for the words and the names, except for a very few rare cases. So we haven't really seen where the journey is going with names and words yet. While with the numbers and the cards, you can already see, okay, this is going around the 20 seconds for the numbers and even slightly below the 20 seconds for the cards, and for the images even below the 20 seconds. I think the current world record is 14 point something. And I heard already rumors that some of our athletes are actually doing 11 seconds in their training.
11?
11 seconds for 30 images.
All right, so
Yes.
right now we're on almost the last minute of the recall for cards. And Fujay is beating Melanie 52-50 right now. But we also have a couple other competitors, Marlo and Johannes, and then we have Johan and Christian. But could we go to table 3?
By the way, you say Fujay?
Yeah.
I think his nickname is Puji. P-U-G.
Because so the last time I went up to them,
That's might when they...
maybe they were just in really competitive mode and they just went through it quickly and they gave me fake names.
Uh-huh. All right. Yeah, we will talk with them. We bring them to the screen.
Look at his concentration right now, Johannes.
Right.
So Marlo did it in 27.92 seconds, and Johannes did it in 60 seconds, but they're tied up. So who's the winner?
Well, can you let us
table 3.
go on that?
Yeah.
Let us
So
go on that
because
table.
he did it in
I
a
haven't put it
faster
on my
amount,
screen
yeah.
here right now. Let's see. That's Marlo Johannes, you asked.
Yep. So it looks like Marlo won.
Yeah, it's clearly
Yep.
a win for
Yep.
Marlo. All of them
He
got
really-
the scores completely correct.
And he was telling me this is his favorite event, too.
Right.
Cards,
so
so-
he's clearly the winner here. Now
The
match
old
is
man
over.
wins
The old man wins against the young man. That's
against the young man.
I mean this is
And
this is typical for memory sports.
yeah, let's go back to Group E. So let's get Melanie. Yep.
versus Melanie.
Puni versus Melanie. So he did it in a faster time, 39.52 seconds, and 52 cards. He did it perfectly.
Yes.
She lost in both categories. So next up, we have Ben Pridmore versus Johannes Muller.
Okay, this one
Yeah.
is a really
This is
interesting
gonna be
match.
great.
Let us
This is-
follow with the camera there what's going
I love their
on
pictures too.
with Ben
Great
and
pick.
Johannes.
Yep.
Yeah, the pictures are really cool, aren't they? Although Ben looks a little bit like he's
He
a
looks like a
priest or
priest.
something.
He looks
with
like a
that-
priest
with
in
that
like a
white-
scary movie.
Yeah. Yeah, he could exactly. He could be the
Exorcist.
exorcist
Yep.
on that image. That's
So-
pretty cool.
Ben Pridmore, this is like a fun fact about him. He went to the same school as Queen Elizabeth.
Oh, did he?
And that's why he uses his techniques with that school that he went to.
What do you mean? use
So
the
that's
technique?
like where spatial memory.
All right.
That's, yeah, that's
He has
what
a memory
uses.
palace
Yeah,
over
memory palace about that.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Yeah. That's interesting. I didn't know
And
that.
remember, guys, to go to extremememorychallenge.com and take the challenge. You
Exactly.
can maybe be one of the best memories in the world.
But if you're not, then you can
Yeah,
still learn it
exactly.
and become the best memory
Yeah.
in the world.
And then see if you have fun with it.
All right. So maybe let's see if I can bring up some
Some of the matches right now.
information here about Ben and Johannes, because what we have, just give me a second
How
here.
many championships do we have between them?
How many championships?
Yeah, because Ben has 3 world championships, and Johannes has 1, and Johannes won the XMT last year. He has 5 German championships. This is incredible. And then Ben Pridmore has 5 UK championships as well.
To be honest, I haven't really tracked how
Yeah.
many championships
But this
they
is-
have won,
this is
because both
really
of
one of
them
the
are
best
such,
matches.
yeah, both of them such senior
Yeah.
competitors who are doing this sport for so long that it gets a little bit tricky to really follow that. Maybe if we switch on my screen here for a moment, we can have a look at these champion cards that I created for them. And what we see here on the left, that's Ben Pridmore. And let me explain what we see here. This is basically all the systems that our champions are using. On the left, we see on the top left this tile here with a 1,638. This is the amount of loci in all the memory palace combined that Ben Pridmore is using, while on the other hand we see Johannes Mahler with 2,500. It's an interesting number, but it doesn't really tell their skill or anything. You can have a huge number and you're really slow in memory techniques, but it's nevertheless interesting to see what our champions gathered here. We also
And
see
Johannes
that,
uses 2 words.
yeah, exactly.
for
So
loci.
we follow there in the middle slot. We see the language that they use for memorizing. So Ben is obviously using English and Johannes German. It's little surprising there,
I love their card system. They have their own system.
right?
Johannes system and then Ben's system.
Now let's do it step by step. So like you said, Ben is putting 3 words on one location. So he's creating this cluster of a story where, let's say, house, cat, mouse. So he makes a story with a house, and there's a cat coming in and eating a mouse, and he all places that maybe on the coffee maker in his kitchen. And imagine all this taking place in a really tiny version to fit the dimensions. And Johannes does the same, but with 2 words. And then when we go into the second row here, we see the question there was, do you use a memory palace for the names? And that's an actually interesting question, because as a beginner, I often hear these questions. Most memory athletes don't. Ben, on the other hand, he actually does. He uses a memory palace for names, and he's like the super minority on that.
Why is that?
Why is
Yeah.
he a minority, or
Yeah.
why is he doing that?
Why is he doing it?
Because he feels more secure if he can go back to these familiar locations, and then he has his stories placed there. It's not necessary though, because you can just hang your story to the face of the person.
But does this slow you down using the memory palace?
Probably Ben is not the best one in names.
All right.
Yeah,
All
so
right,
the
then there you go.
majority
So
doesn't do that, but don't overestimate this.
Yep.
It's possible that some people can master this and can use it really, really nicely. All right. So
they're starting soon with Johannes and Ben Pridmore. Looks like Ben's not ready. Ben's in a very relaxed outfit.
he's wearing the famous
Colorful shorts.
Zoomy T-shirt. This is like one of the most famous T-shirts in memory sports. He's always having this one. He's also called, that's his nickname, Zoomy.
Yeah.
He blogs under the name Zoomy.
Now, what do the competitors do on the side? Are they just relaxing, or are they really watching and paying attention to these competitors?
The others,
Yeah,
what
would you do?
I cannot really say, but I would probably not watch them too closely, because I would rather try to focus on myself and calm myself, prepare for the next match, go through my memory.
Do you clear your
palace.
mind? Oh, you do go through your
Yes,
memory.
absolutely.
Okay.
Look, I mean, now the time starts, the pre-memorization
Yep.
time. It's ticking down 20 seconds, 19, 18 now. And they use this time not to really relax if they do it right. They really try to calm their mind and get into a meditative state as much as they can in order to avoid stress. Stress is the worst thing you can have in memory. And here we go. 3, 2, 1, start. All right, we have the names discipline that they're going through here.
Look how quickly Ben's going through it. Johannes is taking his time.
Although Johannes is better
Yep.
in the names.
Well, we'll
doesn't,
see this
it doesn't
round.
necessarily mean that he's going
Yeah.
to win, of course. But in generally, he has proven himself several times to be a little bit more skilled than
I
Ben.
like the pictures they're picking.
I think what's really cool about Ben is that he's always complaining, oh, I'm really bad at names.
Yeah.
But he's actually getting better and better and better at it. And last
He
year
ages
even
like a fine wine.
get a super great score. I'm not quite sure what it was, like 27-ish or something. So close to the record actually. So
Memorizing ends in 10 seconds. We have in the other group CC and Jan Hendrik, Anu and Boris, and then at table 4, Lance and Clay Knight.
all right, and Ben stopped the time 58.56 seconds. That's
That might be
really
a big
really
advantage.
clever, and
Yeah.
I cannot understand why Johannes didn't do a similar thing, because everyone who does 60 seconds,
Yeah.
in my opinion, is not a very strategic approach. You
'Cause
should, you should always go at least
At least
1
a second,
second
yeah.
under the 60 seconds. Otherwise, if
At
you
table-
tie up, you will not get the point.
At table 2, they both did it in 60 seconds, Jan Hendrik and CC.
Right, and Boris stopped at 57.28. He is
And Lance stopped at 58. He needs this.
right. So I think that Boris did the smartest move there with
Yep.
the 57, because if you just go 1 second below the 60 second,
Mm-hmm.
everyone does that, then you don't get the advantage anymore. So you want to go lower than everyone else, lower than your opponent. So
And for someone like Johannes, I think the sport, Extreme Memory Tournament, is great for him. Because you said you physically have to do things at
right.
the World Championship. That's kind of a
look at Jan
disadvantage.
Hendrik. He is already at 22 names, and he still has 3 minutes. He just recalled 22 names in less than 60 seconds.
That's incredible.
That's
now you have time to
super
relax and
fast,
get it done.
super fast. He has a lot of time to come
Yeah.
up with the rest of it now, if he can.
Yeah, everyone else is under 20 names right now.
Everyone else is like slowly getting.
Johannes is
To,
beating Ben, but there's still 2 minutes and 30 seconds left.
Right.
And Boris is beating Anu, and Lance is beating Clay. Clay went back down. He was at 8 and now 7.
Yeah, but like always, don't.
I know. There's
don't
still a lot of
expect
time left.
that it will end like this.
Yep.
There's time left, and they can all correct. Jan Hendrik is already at 24. This is an amazing score. I mean, I'm doing this for 13 years, and names to getting over 20 names is a tough one.
But look at this. Look at this. So Johannes is creeping up on Jan Hendrik.
Yes.
And now
Boris,
there's 2
Boris
minutes
also
left.
21.
Yeah. Yep. So the veterans are doing very well. They're kicking ass.
Ben is looking really hopeless here with his 10.
Yeah, wow. Maybe he did it too quickly. That 1
Maybe
second.
he did. Maybe they were just
Right?
bad names, and
Because he was flying through there.
he was flying through them.
Yeah.
And then again, that shows you just because they are looking at the information very quickly doesn't necessarily mean that they are faster. They are better
Yeah.
than the others, right? So there's so much strategy involved in everything from the first second where it starts, even before it starts.
Let's look at some of these names they memorize. Kelly, Brady, Bernice. Now, does it help the first letter in the name, memorizing it? Is that like the most important thing, or no?
No, I mean, of course, it's better than nothing.
Yeah,
But if you just get the H from Harry, there's so many other H
that's
names.
true, because there's a lot of B names. And,
It's
yeah.
really not a good idea. You should rather have a concrete image for a specific name. So
Yeah.
Theodore, for example,
Yeah.
I would make a teddy bear out of it for Teddy Roosevelt, Theodore Roosevelt.
Can
And
we go to group? So we'll go to table 2 right now. Jan Hendrik.
yeah, let's have
At
a
26.
Let's have a look at Jan Hendrik. He nearly is going to the world record there with 26. The current world record, I think, is it 28 or 29?
Let's see. The world record is
Right, we can see it on the website here.
It is 28 by Simon in 2016.
Right.
Yep.
Let's see if Jan
So,
Henrik uses the last 20 seconds.
We
there
have
to add
4
more.
guys in the 20s right now. Johannes, John Hendrick, Boris, and Lance. There's 10 seconds left. And let's go back to table 2. We're here. Here we go.
Yeah, 5 seconds left, and Jan Henrik is going to win this round. Not just against.
seems a little bit upset.
Axel, but
Look at the look at his face. I think he wanted the record.
he has many more chances. For
Exactly.
That. He has many more chances. There are so many matches.
And can we quickly go to table 4?
28 seconds to table 3.
Yeah, that was Lance against Clay. I mean, all those winners got 22 or more. These are really good scores.
Numbers.
All right.
So Johannes really.
But it's true.
Beat Ben.
Jan Henrik doesn't look too happy.
No, he doesn't.
But he probably
And you can't even
probably
see
wanted
CC.
to go for the record.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
Otherwise I
If
wouldn't
you're too
understand.
off,
Yeah,
come on.
of course.
Is that like what I hear? What I've learned from memory athletes is that it's mostly about records.
Sure. Of course. I mean,
They-
it's not
yeah.
it's not just
not-
memory
it's not
athletes.
just-
I mean,
but about
every,
winning?
every sport
Yeah.
you want to win. You want to break a record. You want to
In table 3, Dr.
get
Boris.
into history with your results. Of course.
Yes.
So a world record is what you are striving for.
So numbers, we got to look at Johannes for this one because he has the XMT record at 21 seconds.
Exactly. So let's stick with him again, him and Ben, and see what is happening. Also, Ben is really good at numbers. He used to have the numbers world record
So
way back
Yep.
though, but
did Johannes beat him?
yeah, actually Johannes was the
Wow.
one who took away his world record.
Sorry,
as far as I
Benjamin.
remember. I remember when I started with memory sports, we have this discipline called speed
When did you
numbers.
start? I can't tell your age.
2003.
What are you, like 18?
um,
We're starting in
And-
5, 4, 3, 2, 1 in numbers.
all
Let's
right,
start.
and let's see. Ben has a system where he looks at 3 digits at a time. Johannes is looking at 6 digits at a time, but grouped
that
in
rare?
3-3.
3, 3, that
So
system?
both of them have a memory system with
Yep.
1,000 images,
Yes.
and that means they encode all possibilities from 000 to 999. The difference between Ben and Johannes is actually they even have the same approach. They do the same thing, they just look at it differently. So while Ben is looking at one 3-digit
Yep.
image at the same time, but he still does 2 or 3 of them together clustered on one location, Johannes looks at them right
Johannes
away.
doesn't even like move. He literally just, and he doesn't look nervous at all. And Ben, he's looking a little bit nervous. He's scratching himself.
Right. Well, he knows that he's
Johannes is
competing
just-
against
yeah, the best.
the champion
Yeah.
at the moment.
So
So,
57
and
seconds.
you can see also
for
in his
Ben.
result.
Look
he-
at that, 25.28 seconds.
Right, but Ben really did a strategically good
Yeah.
choice there. He got a 57 seconds score. That's a really good time. It's not the 60 seconds. It's not 59
Mm-hmm.
seconds. So
But look how quickly Ben's doing it right now. Oh, nope. Now at the same speed.
well, actually, although Johannes is now picking up here on that speed, Ben is
So-
the fastest one in recall, as far as I can tell.
Yeah, he's at 35 right now.
I mean,
and
what
Johannes is
Jan Henrik
24.
did before with the words was super impressive. But in generally, what I picked up here, Ben is the fastest recaller. Actually, we should have a discipline in the future. Who can recall as much information the fastest? Ben would certainly win that one. And look at
Yeah,
this.
Ben is
He's
almost
nearly
done.
through.
There's 3 minutes left.
Right.
Can we go to table 3? Boris is just beating the living daylight out of Anu. 68 to 32 right now. I know that's not what matters because at the end, but there's 3 minutes.
Right. Yeah, so those times that we see here with Boris and Anodari, I find them a bit tricky.
Is
terms
Boris
of
crying right now?
strategy. I doubt it. Maybe after he sees the results, but not before.
So do you need to really practice like your typing skills for the XMT.
No, not
No?
really. You have with the 4
You-
minutes,
4 minutes,
that you
that's
have,
enough.
That's enough, and it's just so little information they
I
have
think
to
Dr.
memorize.
Boris is crying.
He's just deeply into concentration. This is a very common position
For
of his.
him, I see that
Yeah.
a lot. You,
And
with
others,
her, you can't even
others,
see a thing.
Others do that
With
as
the
well.
new, you can't see
I
anything.
do this as well when I'm covering my eyes to block
Yeah.
out the light, to block out any distraction,
Yep.
and just go as deep into the mind as possible. And I mean, look at Anodari. She doesn't have to do that because she's already covered up. What is she using
I
there?
think that,
Is it
that's a newspaper right there.
Right.
He's at 74. Nope. Yeah, 74 to 68 right now. There's less than 2 minutes to go. And right now, Lance and Ben both have 80. So they have the perfect score.
Right. Oh, Boris put in an incorrect image.
He can
An
correct it.
Well,
Number,
I
yeah.
speak in images. Yeah, of course he put in incorrect
in numbers.
digits, but I know that in his mind it is an image. And here they are tied up now, 74. If it stays like this, Boris
about, yep,
Boris
the
is
time.
about to win because of the time. If Anodari is just getting one more digit, she will beat him despite the time.
I really hope he screams. I'm waiting for it.
Yeah, actually,
This could be one where he screams,
He got to
guys.
correct the next one, so he has now 77. 1 minute to go.
He just needs to fix
Let's have a quick
the
look
1,
at
the 9,
Boris.
0. He's got a 3, 1, 6 right there.
Oh, Anodari surpassed him, and Boris sits at his mistake. He knows
Yeah,
that
but
there's
there's
something
40
fishy.
seconds.
Yeah, he knows there's something going on. Look, he's locked into exactly the first digit there.
Yeah, he looks like he's getting redder.
He is
He's turning into
really-
one of the XMT t-shirts right now.
Let's stay with him until the end here, and see what is going to happen. How is the group looking of Boris? Is it
Yep.
relevant for him?
Johannes and
He is at the
Johannes
top.
beat Ben because of the time.
Right, and
Lance beat
Boris
Clay.
has 6 points. So if he loses against Anodari, it will not be the biggest drawback for him yet. But I'm sure
Yeah, we're at-
that he will not be happy about
He's
that.
down by 1 right now. Come on, Boris. And it's over.
It's over.
Wow, she just beat him.
He took it. He took
Oh,
it.
he took it?
very, very well.
Oh, yeah.
He knows that
I thought you meant
he knows he's still in the lead of his group.
That's very
Actually,
disappointing. I wanted him
that
to
did
scream.
change now because Lance and Anodari both have 6 points as well as Boris. So it has actually been quite dramatic, but he's still at the top because of the percentage of recall.
Does she have a, what is that with her right now? A teddy bear?
Yeah, it's like a mascot.
Something she holds. You know?
Exactly.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Here's Nelson Dallas.
4-time U.S. champion right here.
What's up? I'm just stopping in to add some of my thoughts to the next match, if that's cool with you.
Yeah.
All right, what is the next match? Let's have a look at that.
Ooh, this
Changing of the guards here.
Simon versus Johnny, and it's images in group. So table 2,
Oh,
Sanjay.
all right, that's cool. Yeah, we haven't really had a chance to really follow the image disciplines yet in detail because we were talking so much about explaining everything. This is all going
Got
so
it.
quickly. So maybe you can explain a little bit about that discipline, the
About
images.
images? Yeah, so basically it's 30 images, random photos that we, I guess, have curated of anything. It can be beautiful landscapes, funny dogs, a cup of coffee, castle, all over the place. And there's 30 of them, little square images, and they have to memorize them like a deck of cards, but it's a deck of pictures. 30 of them in 60 seconds, and they have to place them back in the correct order.
And what's a method you use?
So I pair 2 pictures at a time, and I just squash them together in a picture. So if I'll see a dog and a coffee, it's a dog drinking a cup of coffee, and I store that in a memory palace.
That's something easy to memorize.
Yeah, and you can see these guys do
Yeah.
the images. I can't do it that fast, but some will do it sub 20 seconds, and you see them go through it so fast. I don't know how they're creating these stories that quickly.
And
How fast can you do it?
I think the fastest I've done it is maybe 28 seconds.
Really, I'm faster than you. I'm faster than Nelson Dallas,
are
ladies.
you trying to show him up on live?
That's really cool.
What's your fast time?
I think 23.
Okay.
It's my fastest one.
Let's go right now, guys.
That's
No.
really cool. I mean, because I'm really, for me, this is a cool thing because he was always better than me in pretty much everything in memory. So I like
Well,
it.
and he's climbing Mount Everest all the time.
What I find very interesting is about the images when I asked the guys how they do that, pretty much all of them said 2 images or more they put on one location
Really?
together.
Okay.
And I find that because I do it one image
One
at a
per.
time.
Okay.
That means I need 30 locations to memorize them.
Yeah.
And when I think about putting these 2 photos together, so let's say there's the picture of a desert and the next one is a picture of a boat on a lake, then I guess I have to take the sand from the desert and the boat and I
Yeah.
put them together in that image. And it would just take me like this extra second of making up this image. So they do that and they save themselves a lot of locations because they pair it 2 or 3. And at the same time, they're faster than I can do that with a
Insane.
single image. So that's really, really cool.
Yeah, if you saw it in the last set of images we had, which was maybe an hour ago, we had Cici from Mongolia almost did a world record. The world record's, I think, 14.4. She was at 14.8,
Right.
which was insane. And Clay, who in practice has the best times, I think he's done 10 seconds, did a respectable 18 seconds.
Yeah, 2 people.
I think that was a bit of a warm-up for him.
Yeah. I would like to see actually table 4 now with Chijir and Yanja. By the way, do you know how you pronounce his name perfectly? I
I
asked
know
him. he said that-
Shajir.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's-
Shuzir, yeah.
I wasn't that way
Aha,
off.
win.
But yeah, this will be a good match between Yinja and Shajir. I'm not sure how good Shajir is, but it seems like the Mongolian team is very good at the images.
Now,
Yes.
Nelson, what did they do during this period? So he's ready, but he's
Right.
not.
So we give each of the competitors a moment to compose himself. He's just clicked ready,
Yep.
and we want everybody to be ready so that we can start the match simultaneously for all 4 tables. Let me grab this chair.
And that's Alex Mullen right there.
Yep, he's quick at images as well. Let me get cozy here.
Oh, hey, what's going on? Got the big guy at the table.
This is exciting.
Yeah, isn't this
Excited
nice?
to watch this.
Right. So, they have started.
Just look how quick
there's-
Simon goes through those pictures. It's just a quick glance. What is that, a quarter of a second
It's incredible.
per image?
Johnny's keeping. No, he's not the same pace.
Oh wow, look at this feature.
Yeah.
I didn't see that. So you can see
Yeah, exactly how quickly they're doing it.
how quickly they're downloading the information.
Table
into
4, you
their
have
heads.
Shuzir and Yanja. They're doing it at the same pace.
Wow.
Almost.
Wow.
Table 4, Janja, just got 18.3
Simon
seconds.
in 19 seconds, and Everett, a newcomer, 15 years old, 19 seconds.
15. Just
Now-
turned 15 yesterday.
Now the question is, do they get it right? Right.
Right.
I mean, I'm sure you could do it in a few seconds, but you probably get
I don't know about
maybe
that.
the first one right.
Nelson,
Thanks, Nelson.
are there still images in the pool that are
Duplicates?
duplicates, which are just slightly different?
Oh no, I mean, there have been duplicates. I think there was one. No, in the names one, I think someone complained that there was a duplicate face, but I think they were actually twins
Right.
because it was slightly different and not like a different angle on the same person. It was like
It's like a trick.
you looked at his face and you could say like, okay, it looks like him a lot, but I think it's a twin.
Yeah.
So
Because I remember there was this one image in the images discipline that was the same image, but a few pixels more to the left or
Really?
something like that.
interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Johnny's recalling it really quickly.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, he's took a little more time. So
Yeah.
Simon, that's the thing. When you go so fast, under 20 seconds, it's you're really
And you're right, a lot of these images are pretty random.
yeah. I mean, it's all sorts. It's basically memorizing words, but without
Yeah.
the words, right?
Right. You just pick what you see there. And if it's a very heavy scenery, then you just pick the first thing that pops to your attention.
Yeah. Whatever notice you notice
Right.
Okay, so the record last year,
is 14. Well, yeah, the world
Yeah.
record, which was set last year, was 14.4, and we are. Well, CC has the 14.8 top score of the day. I don't know if you've told the viewers though, the best score of the first day in each of the events gets a $2,000
yep.
prize. So there is something in getting the top score.
That's that's why probably we had some disappointment in Jan Hendricks' attempt
That's
earlier, and he
exactly
did the
why,
26.
The names.
Yeah, he was
26
almost
names.
there at the record.
He didn't look too happy about winning
Even though he
against
crushed his
everyone else in the
component.
room in that
Right.
moment.
Yeah, so nobody has yet to get a perfect name score in competition. And I guess he was going for that with the full 60 seconds. A lot of people the previous time had gone in the 50s, right?
Right.
I think Yenja had 50 second, or Alex had a 50-second attempt. Yenja set a record, but it wasn't the full correct, and she did it in less time.
Right.
We have 2 minutes left, and some people already completed it. So Marwin just beat Senye.
Nice. And so did
31
Alex. Alex
seconds.
hit his, he took the full 60 seconds.
So we'll see.
Let's see how
Everett could win.
Everett's filling in his, he's having a bit of trouble.
He's at 23.
Yeah, Everett has
But
already
you can
done
see
some
the
mistakes.
mistake
yeah.
he made there. Usually you'll see maybe someone makes a swap of 2, but here he's got the wrong.
Completely wrong, yeah.
So that means he's mixed up where he's placed his
Is that
items
tough to
and
come off?
location. No, I mean sometimes he may be thinking right now, okay, I'm not quite sure, and he may change it at the last second. But usually when it's this far off, it's a bit of a sign that he may not get it. And Yenja gets hers. That's impressive. 18:30. Oh, she's still going.
You're still going. Yeah, she looks like she's in good shape. Oh, wait. She switched it around.
Yeah.
Shuzier is 24 and 59. It looks like hers. She's going to win this.
So I've asked you this before, Florian, but who's your favorite to win?
Well, Marvin Valonius from Sweden, because first of all, he has steadily improved drastically over the last few years. He is so dedicated to become the best in the world. He is training every day. When he goes to university in the train, he practices for 30 minutes. When he comes back home, he practices.
Amazing.
He is very calm competitor, very relaxed. I think it's very important to win. If you are stressed out, this is always really bad for you.
the last one
Also,
to
we
show up.
saw at the World Memory Championships last year, we mentioned this earlier, he was in the lead 9 out of 10 disciplines, and in the last round, Alex surpassed him. So he was close to becoming the World Memory Champion. He has several really impressive world records.
And here we go.
And-
And that round is over.
Round's over.
Alex took his time, and he beat Everett Chu. 30-23.
Yeah, and he wasn't
It's
able
a
to
smart
switch
move.
those mistakes he had back.
He knew the young gun couldn't do it.
Wow, and Johnny could have had the chance to beat Simon right there. Simon couldn't score his completely, and Johnny took a little longer, and he just swapped.
Right.
What a shame.
And if we look at the groups, we have now 3 people with 9 points. Johannes is in the lead with 9 points in Group A. Marvin is in the lead in Group C with 9 points, winning all his 3 matches so far. And Janja as well with 9 points. So
Undefeated.
that's
And your guy, Marwin.
giving them a really good heads up, but nothing is set in stone yet. So
Yeah, there's a lot
have
more
to be
matches
aware.
to play.
exactly. 15 in total for every competitor, is
Yeah.
that right?
Yep.
So we're basically 1/5 of the way there. There's a lot to play.
Yeah. But, keep in mind, every competitor has their strong suit, and they may have already played one of those matches that's their best one and lost. For example, Alex had an upset in his numbers. He just messed up one little 3-digit section, and
Right.
Shajir, who was against him, took his time and got the perfect 80.
Right, that's very interesting. I mean, we see in Group D, which is a really tough group now, that the current world memory champion is not on the top position. Yeah, so it doesn't really matter where you come from. There are always people who can beat you there. That's what makes it also so exciting. It's not really predictable. Although I still
Yeah.
hope that Marvin wins, so I can make a point there. At
No,
the
I
end.
hope Everett
Well, you
wins.
think over time, the top guys will do what they're supposed to do, right? But obviously there are upsets that can happen, and that's the nature of this type of tournament.
Is this a point where you guys just really just practice and build up first couple of matches?
I think that's also part
Yeah.
of it. Is these guys get into their stride. You know, you saw the first round of cards; they're all kind of safe times,
Yeah.
I think. And you'll see as the day goes on, also depending on their position and what's at stake, that they'll maybe go for it a little more.
Right.
I just want to talk to you because you're the founder. So
Oh,
why,
yeah,
did,
sure.
why did you create XMT? Extreme Memory Tournament.
Yeah, so I started the XMT. It was an idea that I had had for a while. You know, I don't know if I had a lunch with what's his name? I forget. Ray Keane. I'm sorry. And it was at a UK championship. You may have been there. I don't remember.
Which year?
2011
No,
or 2012, maybe.
no. I've
Okay.
been there 2009.
Anyways, he took me out to lunch because he wanted to hear my ideas. I had voiced them to him, and so we talked something about this. I had mentioned, you know, I want memory sports to be like a tennis match where people sit down, go back and forth. They're really excited. They support and follow the athletes, and you know, these big tournaments, the Opens. On the first days, you can like kind of wander around and watch different matches between some of the lesser known ones, some of the top ones, and then eventually, you know, go to the grand stadium to watch the finals, right, between
Right.
Nadal and Federer or whatever. And but that never went anywhere, thankfully. And I ended up doing research with Washington University. Ben did a test battery of memory tests for them. They're doing some research project on memory athletes.
Yep.
And I was like, I want to do that. So I went over there. They paid me, which was great. Did all these tests. Was involved in research. And I told them that I was interested in doing a memory competition. And it would be a cool way to get all these memory guys in one spot. And they were like, okay, that's cool. Let's pitch it to the person who funds our research, DART, which is where we are. And before I knew it, I was like actually figuring out the rules of a competition, very vague structure. And we flew out here, had a meeting. They loved it. Then the next thing was to find someone to build software. I reached out to actually Michael
Right.
at first, but it was a bit expensive. We didn't have that much of a budget to build it out, and Simon was the other one. He had done this OMC, an online
Right.
memory challenge. So I said, hey, do you want to put this together? You know, and he was all for it. And Simon is the co-founder, and he wrote all this beautiful software. He's a 4-time Australian champion.
Oh.
And so after that, the rest is history.
I just love how it's like
Which
fast.
was the right decision, I think, because this software is
Yeah.
really,
It's
really
easy
good.
for us. It's great.
Yeah. It's fantastic for the people out there. They can basically follow the entire thing and click everywhere, follow everything. It's
Yeah.
it's easy
It's
to
all
use.
very interactive.
It doesn't also the technology of the website I find very interesting because it doesn't reload. It doesn't load pages when you go there. I think it's using a thing called Ajax where you just click and it will
Okay.
load it into the page without recreating the entire page. Which is very clever and helpful. Many websites don't do that because it doesn't create a new click.
I see. Yeah.
But you don't need clicks for that. So
Yeah.
this is really nice. It's a
So
nice technology.
what I wanted to say, kind of to sum up that long story, is
Yeah.
the reason I started it is because I wanted to create a memory competition that was exciting to watch, that had more at stake for the competitors, and was more like a sport rather than a test.
Right.
Right. And that's what this is.
You know,
We have-
because it's fast paced, it's exciting, and it's not.
And you have the strategy
Yeah.
component and,
Exactly.
the sport feel to it,
Yeah.
you know. And I love seeing all these stats. I think that's fascinating, rather than just like numbers that represent your score and that's it, you know.
Yeah, and it's great with the world records. It's quick. Yeah, exactly.
Can you tell us a little bit about, no details, but about the first surprise events? When does it
No.
start?
No.
What does this?
Well,
how does
I
it
can
work?
I can reveal. I mean, I don't know if you saw that, but before